T-Boys TV, we are back again with another Hat Show. Obviously, episode 245. In this one, we will be previewing the be-all end-all game against Derby County, and obviously we did react to the Blackburn game, which was disappointing. You know, being at home, the record we have against them, so we need to right our wrongs, and we need to do it now. You know, a lot of games throughout the season, especially the back end, people have said, "Oh, this is a must-win game," including myself in certain games. If we don't win this, you know, we're down. This is really it now. This is the game. Otherwise, it is League One football. It's as simple as that. But first of all, Dad, before we get into anything, how have you been since we done the last one?
Yeah, all good, mate. Hope everyone's cool.
Yep, no, absolutely. Big up to everyone that has been inside. Lewis says, "Evening tea. Hope how are you? Hope you're well. Okay, yeah, I'm good. Thanks, mate. I hope you're well yourself." So yeah, let's get straight into it. So Derby, now they have picked up a little bit. You know, in the recent games, especially at home, not too bad. And we'll go into the overall insight like we usually do. So, like I say, it's massive for us. We have to win. You know, we can't draw, we can't lose. We have to win. And obviously, if we did win, we would, depending on what Cardiff did, obviously we're the early kickoff, though, the only early kickoff. We would go above them. However, we would still be in a relegation zone because our goal difference is not great, as we know. And yeah, as for Derby, like I say, we'd be on the same points as them. But yeah, as a win for them would be massive. It would actually put them above Portsmouth in 19th. So yeah, it could be massive for them, and it would put them above Hull as well, who are on 45 points. Portsmouth on 46, but Derby do have a better goal difference than Portsmouth. A draw wouldn't do much for us, like I say. We'd still be where we are. We could even go bottom if Plymouth got a win, for example. So we need to win, really. And then a bit more insight going into it. They're unbeaten in their last 10 home league games against Luton, winning 5, drawing 5 since a 3-2 defeat at the baseball ground in May 1990. So don't have a great record there. Luton are looking to win their first league double over Derby since 1989 to 90 top flight campaign. Obviously, that was the reverse fixture, 2-1 win. I mean, it was massive at the time, you thought, even though it's let's be honest, quite a lucky win. We thought it'd be massive, but it's one of them many fluky wins we got at home under Edwards this year, let's be honest. Derby County have won each of their last 4 league games on Good Friday and are the only team to win on that day in every season between 2020 to 21 season and 2023 to 24 season. Luton have won 2 of their last 14 league games on Good Friday, drawing 7, losing 5, but are unbeaten in their last 2, winning 1, drawing 1. And then Derby's Jerry Yates has scored 9 championship goals this season. Only in 2022 to 23 has he ever reached double figures in the competition, 14 with Blackpool. I mean, I remember when Blackpool was so poor, he was actually really good for them. And I think he was still one of the top scorers when they were, I think, the year they got relegated in the championship. I've always rated him. You know, he's scored a lot recently as well. So we have got to watch out for him, in my opinion. And then, yeah, a bit more on them. Eustace replaced Paul Warne at Pride Park in February and had a baptism of fire with back-to-back defeats against Millwall and Middlesbrough. The first 4 matches that followed had the desired impact that Eustace would have hoped for, with a quartet of victories moving the Rams out of the relegation zone. Defeat at Swansea followed back-to-back draws with Burnley and Portsmouth, keeping the hosts out of the bottom 3 going into Good Friday. Harness and Yates are the men in form for Derby, with the latter grabbing 2 goals in the last 3 games to take up his tally to 9 for the season. So, like I say, they're mentioning it there. And then the official for this game will be James Linnington. 76 yellow cards and 1 red card have been handed out by him. 14 of his 20 games for the championship games. Last time we actually had him was when we had that nothing to play for game versus Hull a couple of years ago, the 0-0, the final game of the season, when we were already in the playoffs. Hull they were mid-table. They had nothing to play for. So very long time since we've actually had him, and that is a bit surprising, given he does referee a lot in the championship. So yeah, and then as for team news for us, weird stuff come up. I'll be honest. Ollie Lynch got recalled. Now I don't really, some people come out and said about that. That's a bit like we're sort of panicking. I don't really think it is with Ollie Lynch because I think he is, that good. And again, I know he was doing it in a semi-professional league. However, the times he was actually there, like Sheffield United were looking at him. I think West Brom. There was a few other Championship teams, so he has got the quality. But he is set to be probably in the squad for this game. But then the one that I was very surprised to hear is that Naismith could be considered up front. Now, the way I look at it, I think, well, he is versatile. He probably could play anywhere on the pitch. He's probably like a James Milner in that sense. However, that is, as much as the striking department has been a problem, that just screams desperation for me because it's like you look at players like Nordas, who hasn't really started, and I feel the last couple of games when he's come on, he's actually done all right, and he probably warrants a start, especially when you compare it to what Chong's done in the last 2 games. Not really a lot, as we know. Morris is just not doing anything. So for me, I think we should be giving him a chance. Matt Bloomfield also said there could be a change in formation. Now, will that be the formation we, maybe have gone with him before, or will it be a complete change? I mean, for me, and I'm pretty sure you're the same, Dad, we'd just like to see a basic 4-4-2.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think it'll happen.
No.
It could do, but I just don't. I'm not sure that it will. But I do think he'll change it. Derby predominantly play with a 3-5-2, so he could match them up. But he's because of I don't. Do we really need to change formation? Yes, Doubt is out, but we could play Ali on that side, and up front, Elijah's out. Yeah, because we can't be going with one up front. No chance, So I think it'll be more of a three at the back, 4, and then 1 attacking midfielder and 2 up front. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if you change formation, as much as it could come out and work, this isn't really a time to experiment. And I do think, say for example, we did win, and then obviously you got to persist with probably Ali as a left wing back. I think going forward that won't quite work, but for now, just stick with something does work because he has, other than the last game, I don't think he was overly great, but the games he's come on, Leeds and Stoke, he done well in them games. So let's just stick with what we do know. For me, I don't want to be changing it around too much because, like I say, especially if you put like Naismith, I think that just screams desperation. I mean, I don't want us to, put in Lynch and start him. I'll be honest, because again, you're putting, I'm not. I mean, I'm one of these people. I mean, yes, players are young. You know what I mean? They need to get experience. But then I also look at. I think, well, if you're good enough, if you're seen to be good enough, then you're good enough, sort of thing. Look at Makoto, for example. So for me, I wouldn't be starting him because I feel that is a bit mad to do. But I just don't want it to be another Taylor situation, sort of where we want to see him have a chance. Because I wouldn't mind him coming on. I'll be totally honest, but I just don't want us to just throw him in. If I'm going to be honest, despite how poor we've been up front. So yeah, that's what I will say on it. And yeah, Jackie, that's the thing. I think with him, it's just not like for me, and again, I'm giving away a bit of my lineup, but who cares really? I would put him in. And again, I've said that a lot in the recent weeks, but we've literally the next game he cannot feature in it, which is Bristol City. So then I think to myself, well, Bell still hasn't got injured yet when he's come back, which he's known for doing historically when he plays for Jamaica. I got injured out there. So, let's just put him in that left centre back, role. And then, just give him a go because he can't feature, on Monday. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround as well. let's utilise him. And again, I did like that we sort of didn't reward him, for obviously getting a red card. Sometimes you see, for example, under Edwards, when Woodrow got a yellow card against Sunderland, he then come on. You know what I mean? I'm glad he didn't come on in that sense against Middlesbrough, the game when he returned. But I'm very surprised we haven't seen much of him, because even the first couple of games before the red card, he was doing well. He was doing really well for us. And I feel if you have a back three of him, McGuinness and Makoso, that could do really well. And yes, people go, oh, Bell's got more pace and all this and that. But I'm much more confident in Naismith on the ball than Bell. And again, yes, he got red card. It was reckless. But come on now. Like, do you know what I mean? It was silly. Was we going to beat Burnley anyway, guys? Probably not. Let's just be real with it. So for me, I would want to see him have a chance personally. And Jackie says here he's better than Bell. Yeah, exactly. And the thing with Bell now, and again, I know I keep saying it, but he got to his 150th appearance against Hull. He's been, apart from this season, predominantly he's been all right for the club. You know what I mean? He's been decent. But now you've got to cut ties for me. That's how I see it. Because it's like, we need to move on now. Because even there's games that we watch together, and again, we'll be watching the game tomorrow together, where he's on the ball sometimes, and he cuts in, and you get worried, because he takes this weird touch. He'll give the ball away loads. Like, again, I do like him. I do like Bell. I do like everything he's done for the club. The year we went up, we said he was the most improved player. But this year, he's just not been great, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, that's what I'll say on that. But, yeah, I mean, what did you make of Lynch getting recalled, Dad? Might as well ask you your thoughts.
Well, it's definitely an interesting one. We are throwing the dice out there. There's no doubt about that. From the press conference and the fact that we've done that. He is highly rated. Personally, you've seen my lineup. I am starting him. He scored 11 goals in 18 appearances. We've been to a few Hemel games in the past. The standard's not that. It's very similar to conference. And we've been in the conference, and standard. Some players will stand out. And it's still hard to score goals at that level as well, especially consistently. And he's only young, so he's going to be full of confidence, unknown quantity. Because that's the thing. If you go a bit of left field, Derby might be expecting Morris or Nordas or Ali or whatever up front. If you put two people that players that they haven't seen and can't analyse, it's going to be surprises. Them defenders are going to have to work out what Naismith is going to do, or what Lynch is going to do, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I do understand why he's saying that. Morris is just not working. Nordas is obviously come off of a full season. Do you know what I mean? Still new at the club, but I think he'll be good for the future. But he's not coming in and smashing it up. So Nelson, we know, can play up there as well, but obviously I think he's been better in midfield for us, but he's not really getting in ahead of the others. So yeah.
I mean, like you say, that is true, and also like I've said as well, like we've all said, it's not working with Morris. So maybe we can give it a bit of a difference maker. And to be fair, the more I think about it, obviously I know we didn't really play him often, as we know, but when we did have Taylor, his first game was the playoff final, and he stepped right up to the plate, didn't he? And obviously scored. All right, it didn't count, but then he took one of the decisive penalties. So maybe it could be Lynch's time to shine. He has been at the club for quite a while, like, let's be honest as well, on top of that. So, it is one of them where he can be the next one going through. Go on, Dad.
It's not like we've signed him from Hemel. He's our player. Do you know what I mean? And maybe that's where we made the mistake with Taylor. When he was on form, he scored Colchester and Lincoln, was it? We should have given him that opportunity earlier. we didn't. And I think that's part of the problem. And I know that Bloomfield does find these players, these youngsters. You know, he found Kona in the first place, and if he believes in their ability, he obviously would have seen the goals that he scored for Hemel and things like that, and know about him anyway. So it could make sense. And like I say, it's an unknown thing for Derby. They've never, you know what I mean? They've probably not scouted him.
Yeah, no, loads of people wouldn't expected it. Like us as fans, I didn't expect to see that this morning. If I'm going to be totally honest, so or when I first saw it, I'll be honest. What I thought, I was thinking to myself, well, we're going to maybe like loan him out again. But then I was thinking, actually, with our striker situation, thought a bit more logically that we could give him a chance. Like I say, he's been in and around the club for a good few years, and we thought, well, me personally, I thought Luca would be the next one behind Johnson and Nelson, but it seems like it's going to be obviously Ollie Lynch. So that'll be interesting to see. I mean, Rich says here they haven't recalled Ollie for no reason off the bench for me. Yeah, he'll definitely get a run out, whether that's starting or on the bench. But yeah, hopefully there's not. Again, he's obviously a good player. If Sheffield United were looking at him and other Championship clubs, and that was while he was at Hemel as well. Obviously, still on loan from us, but still, like, there's clearly something there for that to be the case. So let's see. Let's see if he could be the difference maker. I mean, if he was, that'd be brilliant. So yeah, we shall see. But I mean, going into the lineups, obviously, you've both sort of hinted at what we've done. I'll start off with mine. So I've gone Kaminsky in goal. It's going to be like that, isn't it? Naismith, like I said, I want to see him start. He can't feature against Bristol City. Like I say, Bell historically will come back, get injured at some point from Jamaica. It just happens. McGuinness, you got to stick with him. Makoso, I would stick with him. I know he's come off a few times in games and he hasn't maybe been as good as he started off, but I still think he's been decent enough. And yeah, we keep putting Burt right wing back. I don't know why, but even then, I think Makoso deserves to start in centre back over him. Jones, one of the disappointing subs that fans were disappointed with him coming off. So hopefully, he can actually do more because he weren't quite able to in the last game. Ali, I'll stick with Ali. Again, Matt Bloomfield has maybe hinted at a change in formation, but I'm just going to stick with what I know, which is obviously this formation with us at the moment. The three in midfield, I'm going to stick with that. Obviously, Nakamba was in. I didn't go to it, but I know Nakamba was obviously training in the thingy. But then again, so was Baptiste. But there was rumours that he could be back for a game, and I think he was back for the last game actually. But maybe he might get a run out. Maybe if we're in the lead, I could see him coming on. To try and see it out. And then up front, like I say, Morris and Nordas for me. I wouldn't mind Lynch and Nordas. I just don't. My thoughts on Ali up front, guys. I'd rather see him out wide. And also, if you put him up front, who are you then putting on the left? The only other thing I could think of is maybe putting Bell higher and then Naismith left centre back. That's maybe the only other thing I can think of right now. But yeah, I'll stick with that. Just because the Chong experiment hasn't worked. I think Nordas has done well when he's come on. But again, if people, obviously disagree and want to put Lynch in or something like that, I've got no problem with that. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't mind that at all. But yeah, as for your lineup, Dad, there you go.
Mate, I've gone totally left field. I've changed the formation. I've gone 3-4-1-2 because he's hinted at it. So I'm thinking, you've got to mix it up. Same back three for me. Ali and Jones still in their relative positions. Chong's been dropped for me. He hasn't really shown a lot. Asgard has to start. Walsh still deserves to start. And then you could have put Chong in the attacking midfielder position, but I'm putting Clark there because of his experience. And then I've gone with Naismith and Lynch up front. That ain't Lynch, by the way. That's the closest I could find to Lynch. So I think he's actually a goalkeeper, this guy. And I've Captain Clark. I've dropped Morris. That press conference for me hinted that he wants to drop Morris. Saying, injury to Elijah. Yeah, but you still got Morris. Do you know what I mean? We put Naismith up front. We've recalled Lynch. That tells me a lot. And I wouldn't mind that, because again, if we do this, Derby are expecting us to go long. Morris hold up the ball. They'll put 2 defenders on him, smother us. If Nordas hasn't really been in it, so do you know what I mean? You could change it up. Obviously, you could have Morris and Lynch. But the fact that he's mentioned Naismith up front, and Naismith could play up front. I believe he could. He scored his most goals in his career when he was in an attacking position for Portsmouth. I think he was maybe left midfield or, sort of pushing on. But he scored a lot of goals for him, and he can score goals. And we know he's got quality on the ball, and sometimes you need that. So if we're working to get it into the box, things like that, obviously Lynch, possibly haven't seen any of his goals, but I'm going to say that he's clinical in the box. And Naismith definitely will be as well, because he's got that ability. And like I say, it's a bit left field, but generally the 3 and the 5, if you like, is the same as we'd go with. But up front, you've got to change it up. And there's no point recalling him Lynch if we're not going to utilise him. And I'd rather just start him because he's scoring goals, whereas no one else is. And yeah, Clark, captain for me. So yeah, that's my lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all. Like I say, I'll be open to seeing Lynch up front. I mean, yeah, there is that possibility, like you say, of what Bloomfield said with Naismith. And I agree. I think he could play anywhere. I think he's like our sort of Milner, sort of, that type of player. He could even play in goal if you needed him to, probably. But yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't mind that. Like I say, I want to see Jones get more of a run out, because the other game, the sub, a lot of fans are disappointed with that. But yeah, I mean, Jackie has agreed with you. Apologies, Jackie. I will go with Daz's lineup. We've got nothing to lose. Yeah, we got to sort of go for this now, and it's not really too much of a tweak. I mean, I guess it's sort of that's sort of how we played up Redwoods, isn't it? With that cam, really.
Yeah, and Eustace would have been planning for this, mate. He's obviously very good at keeping it tight. Do you know what I mean? You've seen that already. Look what he was doing with Blackburn as well. He is a very good manager, so you have to throw a little curveball in there for me.
I mean, for me, when he got sacked from Birmingham, I thought that was harsh. I thought he was doing really well with them at the time. Yeah. So I've always rated him myself personally. So yes.
And then 2 up front, what have we got to lose? Like, Jackie's saying, like, Morris has done fuck all. Not been good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very critical, as you guys would have seen over the last couple of days.
He's been found out. Because in the Premier League, you can kind of get away from you get more fouls. I mean, in the Championship, you don't get that many. Do you know what I mean? So that's what it is. And yeah, it doesn't really work. I think if he goes to another club and plays in a different way, it'd be fine. Maybe we'll play in a different way and we keep him. Do you know what I mean? But the way it just doesn't work. So Lynch is probably a bit more of obviously a finisher in the box, like I've mentioned, but I think he's probably got a bit of all-round stuff. Do you know what I mean? Which is we're not. That's the thing. Our strikers are too one-dimensional, really. Morris just holds it up. Elijah's, pacing, but not got that quality too much. If Elijah gets fed and then can run into the box, he'll bang in loads of goals, mate. He'll get 20 a season easily. But because he's being asked to hold it up and then run onto things and stuff like that, that's why it's not working. But these 2, real curveballs. So that's what I'll be going with.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Rich says thinks we might go for 4-3-3. I mean, I wouldn't mind that, because then, for example, if we went with a 4-3-3, you could then play Ali as a winger, higher up, for example. I wouldn't mind that. I just think we need to. I mean, they are the most basic formations, isn't it? 4-4-2, 4-3-3. It's annoying that we just don't give it a go.
We try to follow European style, and then all the Premier League, 1 up front, pass. It's boring. Do you know what I mean? The best Premier League teams would have used 4-4-2 or 4-4-3, and every player played decently in that position. They were made for that position. You know, Giggs on the left, Beckham on the right. You know, two strong midfielders, Keane and Scholes. Like two proper strikers up front who could score from any angle, run. They could do it all. You don't get that now. Do you know what I mean? Like if Haaland was up front in a 4-4-2 with, like, say, what's the other player they signed?
Mamouche, that one.
Can you imagine them two in a 4-4-2 up front? If you're delivering it, crosses into the box, and that'd be amazing. But they just don't play like that. But yeah, I think if we do that, it could be interesting. But possibly, I think he's like saying it to kind of throw him off. You know, because it is a wild thing to say. Yeah, Naismith ain't played for 3 games. Like, he normally plays in defence. We're going to bang him up front like as well. You know, it does smack of desperation a little bit, but I find it quite interesting. I think it's like a little bit of mind games kind of thing. Probably won't do it. I'm not sure if I'll be happy if I see Morris start, to be honest with you. I definitely want to see Lynch start and Naismith possibly, but he won't start in defence. But you could put him in midfield maybe. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, Richard's there. He has played there with Pompey. Yeah, I believe it was 2017, I think, when he was there. Was it 2017? Around about then, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, no, he has had that experience of playing there before. So it will be interesting if that was the case. Like, considering, again, like my dad said, he hasn't played for obviously a good few games now. So we'll see. But your lineup that you would go with, I'll go for it, Rich. I've seen it. Kaminsky in goal, that's saying. This is obviously your 4-3-3, isn't it? So Bell, Guinness, Makoso, Burke. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I would prefer seeing him as a right back, I guess, than a right wing back. And then Walsh, Clark, Asgard, yeah, that's the 3 that we all expect. And then Jones on the right, Ali and Morris. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't mind that as much. I'll tell you what would be good. That Jones, Ali, and Nordas right now. I'd say that 3 could be good. You know, maybe. But I do like them players up there because, like I say, giving them the freedom and luxury to do what they're better at, and that is attacking in Ali and Jones there. So, yeah, it could be interesting there. But, yeah, Dad, we'll do score predictions. And there's something else I want to quickly get into at the end. But, yeah, Dad, the Derby decider, I've called it in the title. What are we saying, Dad? Are we saying a loss, which is going to basically take us to League One?
No, I don't think we'll lose. I remember back in the 90s now, Derby were always our bogey team. We'd always fucking lose to them, no matter where they were in the table. Especially away. Got a crap record against them. Yes, we need to win. It could happen, you know. But I just think Eustace is a good manager and has got that little bit more experience, and I think it's going to end up a draw, which is beneficial for them. Not an out, yeah. It relegates us. Do you know what I mean? Pretty much. Still, we have to win, because then you've got to win your last 3 games, and we're not going to do that. We're not. So, yeah, I think that's it for us. I think we've left it too late. We're sacking the manager. It's lesson learned. It's going to be lesson learned. But I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
I mean, that was the score, I believe, the last time we went there, actually. 2-2 draw. That was quite early on in the season that year. I remember it was one of our first away games, if not our first. As for me, I'm going to say a defeat, unfortunately. Just, again, sort of what you've said, Dad. We've left it too late. We're still struggling up front. We are better, you know, defensively, but I still think Derby at home can get one past us at least. So based on that, we're going to say 1-0. A 1-0 defeat for us, unfortunately. And again, it's hard in this type of game to knock back us the score because this game, guys, and I said it to you, Dad, it reminds me of West Ham away last year. it is the game that basically relegates you, but it's not the last game. So, we did score in that game. We took the lead, but then we just done what we've done a lot in the Prem towards the end, and we just capitulated, really. So it might be another one of them guys, but yeah, if I see Morris up front, even though I've said it myself, I just think it will happen. I wouldn't like it to happen, but I just think it will. Then I will, not be so confident. Because, like I say, Nordas has done well when he's come on the last few games. Lynch, like everyone is saying, give him a go. I mean, I have done a poll saying, would you start Lynch? There's been 3 votes. One has said yes, and the others have said no. So it's interesting. Either way, me personally, like I've said, I do want to see him get a run out at some point in the game. And again, if we are in a position where we are winning, which I don't think we will be, but if we are, then let's bring on Nakamba. Like, let's not bring on Lamine. I don't want to see that. No disrespect. He keeps giving away fouls. Whether you think it was a foul against Stoke or not, the reality is they got a free kick and they scored from it. Yes, it took a block, whatever, deflection, but still. And even the whole game, I don't think it was great. I think everyone put in a good shift that whole way, except him. I thought he was so poor in that game. So, yeah, he needs to learn. So put on experience Nakamba. That's what I'll be doing when it comes to midfield changes. So, yeah, no, I have to agree. Rich. I mean, I don't see it personally. If we did, then fair flipping play, and hopefully he wouldn't get as much criticism, Bloomfield, as he has. Because I don't necessarily agree with all of it. I mean, the subs, the in-game when it comes to certain substitution, yes. But when it comes to how we're actually playing, I can't have a go at him for that. But yeah, Jackie's score prediction. Obviously, Jackie did say it the other day, 3-1. Asgard to score Lynch and Jordan. I'll tell you what, if Lynch scored, that would be sick. But yeah, Dubs, you're 2-2, so you're 2 goal scorers.
Lynch and Clark.
Fair enough. So that's interesting. Experience and youth, that is. Obviously, I said a 1-0 loss, so I can't say a goal scorer. I'll say their goal scorer, probably Yates. Or he get an assist. I can see that. But yeah, hopefully it is not the be all or end all. But again, guys, even if we win, me personally, I still think we'll go down because the games after teams around us, and again, teams up there, playoffs, and again they'll have pressure on them themselves. However, Bristol City are really on a roll, and I said at the start of the year they'd actually finish 6th. So I'm sort of like, obviously I want Luton to beat them, but if we didn't, and then they sort of got in that 6th position, I would be happy. Because no one said that. Not a lot of people said that. I got called names under the sun for that. So, yeah. And then, obviously, we've got Coventry. It could be written for them to do it. I know you said it, Dad, on a Hat show quite a while back. It could be written, after the player final and stuff like that. Need to find that, actually. If we don't win tomorrow. And then, obviously, the last game, West Brom. You don't know by then. It depends what their results are doing. But it could be done by then for us. It all depends on tomorrow. So, yeah. It's one of them. Yeah, I mean, it's on a lot of things for me. It's on the recruitment, it's on the board, and it's on the players. They're the top 3 things.
And Rob Edwards as well.
Yeah. I count Rob Edwards sort of on the board conversation because, they persisted with him for that long. I blame the recruitment because we signed waste of time, and we're lucky we signed them for free, really. Baptiste and Moses. Waste of time they were. And then obviously the players, obviously not the new signings, but, like Morris, what's he doing? Elijah, before he got injured, like them players, they're known for scoring at this level. And again, like you said, Dad, they have been found out, but they're not even trying to change up their game. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just so, especially Morris, he's not in the box. I mean, I have to give Elijah for credit for at least getting in the box and having chances, but his frustration is he wasn't scoring, whereas Morris is just not getting in the box whatsoever. And like I've said, if Morris had the chances Elijah had, for me, he'd be scoring them. But he's not in the box doing it, and that is what is getting on the nerves. So, yeah, possibly. Plymouth as well, I didn't mention. Obviously, they've got Middlesbrough away. I mean, I don't know, it's a weird one with Middlesbrough. They do have their weird result every now and then, so. You've got to keep an eye on that as well. So, yeah, players and board, yeah. And recruitment for me. They're the main 3. definitely. So, yeah. And then the last thing I did want to mention, there was a comment on it earlier from Rich, talking about obviously players out on loan. Obviously Pebble. Now, I'm just going to read his stats out. Pebble's stats for this season. Obviously, he's been at Southend and Chesterfield. So a bit like Taylor in ways, where he's been obviously loaned out to two different clubs. So for Southend, he played 19 games, 7 goals. And as for Chesterfield so far, obviously in League Two, 17 matches, 5 goals, 1 assist. And he also did have a game in the Football League Trophy. Hasn't quite scored in it, or didn't quite score in it, shall I say. With it being done now, I mean, would we give this an opportunity? I mean, it's an interesting one because we signed him, and I remember he was at Canada, and he had a lot of hope, and we thought it'd be one for the future. I remember when we was actually talking about it, Dad. Can you see us maybe recalling him potentially next year?
Yeah, if we go down 100%, we'll probably give him a chance pre-season and see what he's about. And if we think he's got ability, then I think we'll keep him. Do you know what I mean? But it's hard to prove. Southend, Chesterfield. They're not. It's not. They're too far down. Do you know what I mean? For the standards that we want to be keeping. Yes, we'll be in League One, but we still should have that kind of top Championship Premier League mentality, because that's our aim, and that can't go wrong. I know Gary Sweet said, just we've made record profits. We're not going to spend stupid in the summer. We don't really need to, but you can still spend. Stupid is like 15 million or something in League One. Do you know what I mean? Like, but you can still spend. If we have to go in for Conan, we can get him. It has to be set 8 million. Get him. Birmingham done it. Get a couple of 2 million signers. That's fine, but he needs to spend regardless. Like, and we can't be, unless the recruitment situation's been wholly sorted out and we find these gems and stuff, which I don't think it is. I think there'll be a lot of youth players involved by the sounds of it. Players we've already got: Walters, Johnson, Lynch, Nelson. I think that we're going to keep a lot of them and go for it. If we go down, which we probably will, I think they'll do fine in that league. I think the players we've got in certain positions are real quality for that league. But we need to revamp the strikers as well. Elijah will probably end up staying now due to that injury. Probably won't get a move. But really, he should be banging in goals in League One. If you can't bang in goals in League One, there's something wrong. Do you know what I mean? He should be up there, top scorers, easily. Morris, possibly time for a change for him, I think. We need to, again, change the way we play. So there's no point just having them two up front, because, again, you're basically found out, even at League One. Do you know what I mean? Because they were seeing it day in, day out. And in League One, that's the way most teams play, hitting it long and things like that. So they train for that. So we've got to sort that out as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And that's the thing, isn't it? The further down you go in the leagues, the more sort of physical it is. So like they'll just know really what to do. Whereas if we play a different way of football, they shouldn't really be able to deal with it with the quality that we will have for sure. Like Jones, Asgard. The new signings, really, the ones that are actually permanently obviously signed. Ali as well. Do you know what I mean? They were doing it for teams that are, obviously not Jones because he was in the Championship, but like Asgard and Ali were doing it for teams that are not right up there. Do you know what I mean? As well, on top of that. So look at that as well. Big up to Caden in the chat. As it stands, mate, we're doing another preview again next year. Obviously, we've done them, obviously, the playoffs many years ago. And it's mad to see how far both of our clubs have fallen. But good to see you in here, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, exactly. I watched another Luton channel talk about that actually before I went on here. And definitely. And it's like I said the other day, I cannot wait until we do the keep sell loan, Dad. I mean, because last year we kept loads, but that's because we had the faith in the players.
Exactly.
But this year we will not be keeping as many, as we all know. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. Like I say, we'll do that shortly when the season wraps up. To be fair, probably be the first Hatter show. To be fair, I don't really want to do a season review because it's just been dire. Whereas Premier League, it was different because, you know, some of the teams you're playing. But this year, we'll probably won't do one. We'll probably just do a keep, sell, loan at the end of the season, like I say. But yeah, Dad, any final things you want to say about anything before we wrap up?
Just, yes, early kickoff.
The only early kickoff, which is weird to say.
I think there'd be a lot of drunk people. You know what I mean? So.
Well, apparently, they've actually sold out their home end.
Yeah.
And I think we're close to selling out the away end.
They've got 33,000 stadium as well. So, you know, their fans are going to be on it. You know, we have improved, though. I think we're unbeaten in 3 away. So, I think that, like I said, I think that will remain, but it just won't be quite good enough. And then we'll have to win our last 3 games, pretty much, against playoff teams. It's not going to happen. So, you know, we need that win and then get a couple of draws, other results going away, because there's some tough games for Cardiff, Derby as well, you know. So, against each other. So, you know, it could work out. But, yeah, we'll see. Could find out by Tuesday.
Yep, no, absolutely. And obviously, it is a quick turnaround. So what we will do is we'll just do it all in one on Sunday. And then obviously a preview Bristol City. And then from there on in, I'll let you know what is going on for that. But yeah, like I say, tomorrow we will be watching it together. So there will be a vlog from home. And obviously, I'll do a reaction. And depending on how it goes, we might both do it together. We shall see. But either way, I'll do one myself. And then, yeah, like I say, we'll do a hat show on Sunday, getting more into it with the player ratings, and then obviously preview Bristol City. But yeah, hopefully, for you know, content's sake, Hatters show's sake, we are still talking with a fight in us, hopefully. So yeah, we shall see. But yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Obviously, do smash a like if you haven't already. Do subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. And do also check out the short I put out earlier, which was me reacting to Ollie Lynch coming back. And yeah, obviously, like I say, we'll be back again tomorrow with stuff for the game. So do check all of that out when it drops. So yeah, until tomorrow, smash a like, subscribe, follow me across all my socials, subscribe to the extra channel. And yeah, we will see you lot tomorrow. So until then, take care and peace. Come on, Luton. This is it.
Come on, Luton.